Brothers by Blood by Mike Harrison. It was coming near to the end of November. On the 1st of December, it will be the birthday of my older brother, 17 years old, who passed away about 3 weeks ago. It's going to be really different without him on his birthday. One afternoon, I was just sitting in my room on the computer when my mother came in with a big box of my brother's old possessions and asked me if there's anything I wanted to keep. I looked in the box. All I saw was photos and action figures, still in really good condition. But then I saw something that caught my eye. I saw his Game Boy Advance and a Pokémon Fire Red cartridge. So I asked my mom if I could have it. My mom said it was okay and just went out to put the box in the garage. I couldn't really remember him playing it much in the last few years. The last time I remember him playing it was about 3 years ago. And he got the when it came out. And since he got Fire Red, I got Leaf Green. But I have no idea where my Leaf Green is now. Plus, I haven't played a first-generation game in a long time. So I put the game in and I turned on his Game Boy. The Game Boy title screen came up normally. But opening intro with Gengar and Nidorino fighting was a bit jumpy. I thought it was normal enough since it's an old game and it would have some scratches. The title screen was kind of jumpy as well, but not as bad as the opening scene. I saw that there was a save file, so as every Pokemon gamer would do, I clicked continue. I was in what looked to be a pitch-black room or something, so I tried clicking start. The menu popped up. I noticed he went with the classic name of Red. Then I checked his party. He had a level 75 Charizard, a level 74 Blastoise, a level 73 Venusaur, a level 72 Pidgeot, a level 73 Sandslash, and a level 72 Raichu. So I guessed he had traded with friends. I clicked on the Raichu because I suspected it would know Flash, and I was right. So I used Flash and I was very confused as to what I saw. Red appeared to be in a weird glitch town, which I thought was very similar to the glitch town in the original Pokemon Red and Blue. I tried to move around, and I was actually able to move around, unlike in the original games. But then, as I started walking upwards, I saw some tall purple sprite with a darker purple tail. I went over to it and pressed the A button. A speech box appeared. It said, "These humans, they care nothing for me." I felt like I heard that before. Another text box appeared. "Humans and Pokemon can never be friends." Again, I feel like I know this from something. A third text box appeared. "I see now that the circumstances of one's birth is irrelevant. It's what you do with the gifts of life that determines who you are." That right there made me remember. Those were the quotes from Mewtwo in the first Pokemon movie. I waited for a couple of seconds. No more text boxes popped up. I clicked on what I guessed was Mewtwo, considering the direct quotes. All that appeared was ellipsis. Then I heard a loud Mewtwo cry. Then a battle scene started. The music was very jumpy, and I was 100% sure what I saw was indeed a Mewtwo. I sent out my brother's Charizard first. Mewtwo was level 100, so I knew I had quite a disadvantage. Charizard used Flamethrower. It did an okay amount of damage. Mewtwo then used Psychic. It somehow made Charizard faint. So I sent out Blastoise. Mewtwo took him out with ease. I sent out my last Pokemon, Raichu, after Mewtwo took the rest of the team out. I managed to get Mewtwo to red HP. I looked in the bag, and to my disappointment, there was no Master Ball. There wasn't even a Pokeball. So I did the only thing I could do. Knock him out. I used Thunderbolt. Mewtwo's HP went down to 0. Raichu's EXP went up quite a lot. Then the battle scene faded out. I was now in Cerulean Cave, where you normally find Mewtwo. But what I found odd was, Mewtwo was just lying on the ground. I pressed A and he said, "Even though one has gone, the other must keep the legacy alive." That was Brothers by Blood by Mike Harrison. Final thoughts? Short but sweet. Have to say it right now and get out of the way. Even in a short story like this, there were grammar and spelling issues that could have been pretty easily caught, like remember instead of remember, as well as starting 2 short sentences in a row with and. Luckily, most of the grammar issues are minor. They do, however, stand out, especially when being read aloud. A great example is, I suspect it would know Flash, and I was right. That should be one sentence with a comma, not two sentences with a period. Putting a comma in it would make it, I suspected it would know Flash, and I was right. Instead of, I suspected it would know Flash, and I was right. In fact, the story had a huge problem with using periods instead of commas. If there's anything that made the reading sound really choppy and awkward, it was that. As for the positives, it's not cliché at all, and that's actually very high praise, seeing as most stories in this genre are very cliché. It has plenty of unique ideas that I've never heard before, it doesn't dwell on things that aren't very important to the plot for too long, but it dedicates a line or two to them to give some variety. Mike could have gone on about how his brother died, and his last words were to never play the game, and then he played the game like, so many other stories, but he didn't. The brother just happened to be dead, we never got into why, we continue on with the plot. I like this. Not everything has to be some massive plot point. Some of it can just lead into the next thing. The brother was simply in the story as both of a way to get the game into the main character's hands, as well as to set up the underlying theme. The main character lives as the brother died, just like when Mewtwo died and left Mew to keep the legacy alive. The story works well for what it is. That's it for this story. Tune in next Saturday when we tackle yet another Pokemon Creepypasta made by our own community over on the forum with The Magnet Train. Before I sign off, since you're probably watching this video because you like Pokemon, I thought I'd let you guys know that if you go to the playlist section of my channel, I've actually Let's Played Pokemon Blue, Gold, and Ruby. I didn't think those Let's Plays were all that good, but hey, you might like them. I'll put some links to the playlists in the description. Also, turn off your damned ad block, food's expensive. Until next time, sweet dreams.